Good afternoon and welcome to the third and final comment hearing regarding updates to the tenant selection plans for Loomis Courts, Harrison Courts, and Lathrop Elderly. My name is Jennifer Hoyle. I'm the Deputy Chief of Strategic Management and Partnerships for CHA, and I'll be moderating today's hearing. The purpose of this hearing is to provide an overview of the updates to the tenant selection plans, which I will refer to as TSPs, for the three properties, and address comments and questions that we've received regarding the updated TSPs before presenting them to the Board of Commissioners for approval and then submission to HUD. Before we begin with the overview of the TSPs, I will briefly describe how the public comment process will work. The public comment period began on September 30th and ends on October 30th. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we are unable to hold in-person hearings like we normally would, so we are conducting the public comment hearings via live stream. The first two hearings were held last week. Residents, members of the public, and other interested parties can submit comments and questions regarding the TSPs by email to commentontheplan@thecha.org, as well as by regular mail and fax. During the public comment hearings, we'll provide an overview of updates to the TSPs and then respond to any written questions or comments that we've received. All questions and comments will be included in the public comment grid and will be reviewed and then responded to by CHA staff. To encourage participation in this process, we're making a variety of information available on CHA's website at www.thecha.org, including the updated tenant selection plans, a summary of the plans, the public notice, and the comment grid. Links to the video from the hearings and transcripts of the hearings will also be posted. There is a button on CHA's homepage that links to all of this information. As I noted earlier, the purpose of today's hearing is to collect comments regarding the updated tenant selection plans for Loomis Courts, Harrison Courts, and Lathrop Elderly. Please note that there is a separate tenant selection plan for each property, all of which are posted on CHA's website, although the policies included in the TSPs are generally consistent. At this time, I will ask Ketsia Colone, Deputy Chief for Housing Policy and Occupancy in CHA's Property and Asset Management Office, to provide an overview of the updates to the TSPs for these properties. Ketsia?
Thank you, Jenny. Good afternoon. A tenant selection plan is a governing document that outlines the admissions through continued occupancy policy for residents. We are seeking to update the tenant selection plans for Loomis Courts, Harrison Courts, and Lathrop Elderly. Loomis Courts is located at 1314 West 15th Street in the near West Side community area. Harrison Courts is located at 2910 West Harrison Street on the west side in the East Garfield Park community area. And Lathrop Elderly is located at 2717 North Leavitt in the Lincoln Park community area on the north side of the city. Both Loomis Courts and Harrison Courts provide housing for families and individuals headed by adults 18 years of age and older. Lathrop Elderly provides senior designated housing for those who are headed by households that are comprised of seniors 62 years of age and older. Loomis Courts consist of a total of 124 units and offers both 1- and 2-bedroom apartments. Harrison Courts provides a total of 142 units, and it offers studios, 1- and 2-bedroom units. Lathrop Elderly provides a total of 91 units and consists of both studios and 1-bedroom units. In total, these properties offer 357 units of affordable housing. The Board of Commissioners most recently updated and approved the tenant selection plans for these properties in 2005. We are seeking board approval to update these TSPs. The following is a summary of the most substantive updates to the plans. Smoke-free housing. All properties will prohibit lit tobacco products within 25 feet of housing and with administrative buildings. Pet ownership. Pet ownership will be subject to quantity, size, and breed restrictions. Pets and assistant animals will be subject to registration requirements. Processing of applications for admissions. All properties will accept housing applications only through CHA's online web portal. Maintaining waitlists. Properties will offer site-specific, site-based waitlists that are open indefinitely. Applicants will be required to update their applications annually. Waitlist preferences and verification of preferences. Properties will offer preferences which offer applicants a priority on the waitlist based on the following: federally declared disaster, domestic violence, veterans, homeless, family preservation. All preferences, with the exception of the homeless preference, will be verified at the time the applicant is being screened. And finally, applicants will have to respond to a unit offer by either accepting or declining it within 2 business days once contact is made. This concludes a summary of the most substantive updates and changes to the tenant selection plans for Loomis Courts, Harrison Courts, and Lathrop Elderly. Thank you.
Thanks, Katsia. We'll now proceed to the public comment portion of the meeting. CHA has received 3 comments so far. The first comment was submitted by a resident of Loomis Courts. This comment was not specific to the tenant selection plan, but raised concerns about security issues on the property and other issues related to property management, including garbage pickup. This comment was submitted prior to the first hearing last week, and I believe it was referred to the property management staff for a response. Is that right, Katsia?
Correct. This inquiry will be or has been directed to the designated staff person for follow-up.
Okay, and then we'll also include a response in the comment grid as well when the comment grid is ready.
Thank you.
We received 2 additional comments prior to today's hearing. First, a resident who did not identify the property where he lives has asked if there will be a rent increase as a result of the TSP changes. Can you respond to this question, Katsia?
Sure. Rent at all properties is subject to income. So specific questions regarding a person's rent status will be directed to property management.
Okay, thank you. The same resident also asked if in a circumstance where CHA is requiring a resident to move unrelated to a lease violation, would we provide Section 8 vouchers to allow the resident to relocate? Is that a question you can respond to today, or do you need additional time?
So all questions that are not specifically related to the tenant selection plan will be directed to property management or designated staff for response.
Okay, thank you. So all of the questions and comments that we receive, including the ones that were addressed at the hearings today and last week, will be included in the comment grid and will receive written responses as part of the comment grid. As I noted earlier in this meeting, all of the documents related to the tenant selection plans are posted on CHA's website at www.thecha.org. The video of this hearing will also be available to review. If you have questions or comments after reviewing the available material, please submit them to comment on the plan at thecha.org. There are no additional public comment hearings scheduled, but the public comment period continues through October 30th, and written comments can be submitted through that date. As I've previously mentioned, all of the comments, regardless of how they are received, will be included in the comment grid and will receive a response. This concludes today's public comment hearing. Thank you for participating.